Welcome to Rakdos the Showstopper. Hope you're excited for some wonderful demons tonight. We've got a ton of them to show off, but let's start off with the star of the show himself, and that's Mr. Rakdos. So, we've got Rakdos the Showstopper. That's going to be flying and trample. Whenever Rakdos enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that is not a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each of those creatures whose coin comes up tails. So one of the interesting thing about Rakdos is you're definitely going to be rewarded for playing, demon, devils, or imps. When I originally started to build this deck, I was like, oh, let's go imp tribal. And man, it is slim pickings. There's not a lot of stuff out there to go imp tribal. So I found that the best core concept for this deck is basically just kind of to go demon tribal. Unfortunately, this is one of those commanders that, you can get a little bit creative as far as what demons you want to go for, but it's kind of like the Locust God or something like Necasaur in that you're going to be greatly rewarded for running a lot of demons or a lot of devils, and so that's kind of going to limit you into your deck building. So as far as this deck goes, it's a fun deck to pilot. It's nothing too crazy as far as the core concept of the deck, but we are running a lot of demons. I did try to go imp tribal, but man, that's not a lot of stuff out there. I might end up looking into a devil build later on down the road, but I enjoy playing demons. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about as far as how we can win with demons, and we'll jump into that in the deck tech. In fact, let's go ahead and start the deck tech now. So that was Mr. Rakdos himself. Now let's move to some of the card advantage demons that we do have in the deck, and that's going to be Blood Gift Demon and Doom Whisperer. Both of these demons are going to give us some sort of card advantage. Blood Gift Demon is going to allow us to draw a card at the beginning of our upkeep, and the Doom Whisperer is going to allow us to kind of filter through our library, paying that 2 life to surveil for 2. One of the cool things about demons within Magic is that they typically have kind of a lower converted mana cost. They're going to be 4, 5, or 6, something like that, and they have a really nice effect attached onto them. So, that's one of the cool things about these demons is some of them do have some sort of drawback to get them down, but most of the time you're going to get a very nice threat onto the battlefield, and especially with something like Doom Whisperer, 6/6 flying and trample, and at the same time having that surveil. It's going to allow you to kind of dig for whatever you want. Now, outside of the card advantage demons, we do have some kind of spot removal demons. That's going to be Shadowborn Demon and Demon of Dark Schemes. Shadowborn enters the battlefield, destroy target creature. And then with Demon of Dark Schemes, it's going to give us a little bit of a reanimator on a stick, and then also kind of have a nice little kind of -2/-2 board wipe to clean up any sort of our token matches. Outside of our removal demons, we do have a little bit of kind of like tutor demons, or demons that give us some sort of, not necessarily card draw, but some sort of card advantage. And that's going to be Demon Lord and Runescarred Demon. So Demon Lord's going to enter the battlefield. We're going to look at the top exile cards from the top of our library. If we can kind of keep that chain going, we do have a lot of high converted mana cost cards in here, so we can end up with a pretty full hand. And then also with Runescarred Demon, enters the battlefield. It's just basically going to be a 7 mana demonic tutor demon that we get on the battlefield. Now, if you have something like Mirror March, and then we get a few extra copies of Runescarred Demon, that's some good tutor action right there. Now, we also are running a little bit kind of like a Punisher style effect with a couple demons, and that's going to be Herald of Anguish and Omnixilus the Fallen. Herald of Anguish, we are running a ton of artifacts in here, so that Improvise is going to allow us to get it down just a little bit quicker. Then at the beginning of our end step, each opponent has to discard a card. That's going to be a great way to, by the time we're getting down Herald, by the time we're getting into our 4, 5, 6 demons, converted mana cost, Herald's going to be a great way to really attack our opponent's hand. And just make sure that anything that our opponent's trying to save into the late game, we're going to make them discard with Herald. Plus, we have that activated ability, sacrifice an artifact, target creature gets -2/-2. So it's always nice to kind of cash in your artifacts for a little bit of spot removal. Same thing with Omnixilus. If our opponent's going to be making some land drops, we can have that 3 damage, or that target player loses 3 life whenever a land enters the battlefield. You'll kind of see it in how good that is in a particular video after this one, but that does add up. If you can get it down pretty quick, either through Urza's Incubator, or you get down a little bit of mana ramp, getting this down will be definitely a win condition by itself, just to kind of put some pressure on your opponent's life total. Now, outside of the demons, we are running red-black, so we have access to a ton of removal. I went pretty heavy on some of these sacrifice-style elements in here. So we have To the Slaughter, Tribute to Hunger. We've got Diabolic Edict in here. We also have Devoured Flesh. Really just wanted to kind of make it painful for our opponent to keep any sort of creature on the battlefield, in addition to our spot removal. And so we're also running, we are in Rakdos, we're running Bedevil, Dreadbore. We've got Terminate, Toxic Toxic Deluge. We have pretty much every board wipe that we want. Hour of Devastation, Damnation. I'm not spending too much time on these just because, you know, it's just spot removal. It's nice to have it. So, but basically, as far as the removal package, I decided to kind of include a lot of sacrifice style elements in addition to your normal Terminates and Dread Boars, just kind of as a way to get around some of the hexproof style effects that some players tend to run in Commander, and just really make sure that board is clear. Or we can use Terminate to kind of clear the ground. If our opponent gets down a flyer, we can use that sacrifice on their instep. Either way, I just really like the sacrifice element in this particular deck. Now let's move on to the utility creatures for this deck, and that's going to be Hellrider. I love this card. It's a devil. When it has haste, and then whenever a creature you control attacks, deals 1 damage to defending player. So whenever I build a Commander deck, I always kind of like to have these kind of like backdoor wins. And one of my backdoor wins is going to be Mirror March, Hellrider, and then just swinging with a bunch of demons. So it does work out really well. It has that haste option, and you dealing that 1 damage to your opponent. It's usually enough to where if you've got 2 or 3 demons swinging in the air, it's kind of enough to push you over the edge. But either way, it's a great card to run in here, and it's going to survive the Rakdos coin flips, which is always nice. Now, Blood Speaker. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice Blood Speaker. If you do, search your library for a demon card, reveal that card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Then once it goes to the graveyard, a demon comes out. Basically, it's kind of like a 4-mana tutor card. I mean, the art's pretty sick. I like it. It's pretty cool. You could probably cut it if you needed to, but you've got a demon tutor card, so hey, might as well just go and run it. Now, this is going to bring it to the utility spells for the deck, and that's going to be Mirror March and Krark's Thumb. Mirror March, like I've mentioned throughout this deck tech, is really going to make sure we get a ton of really good demons on the battlefield. If we don't hit that coin flip, that is a little bit of a bummer. But with something like Krark's Thumb, that's going to work out with Rakdos. It's going to work out with Mirror March. We can end up with a lot of copies on the battlefield. Now with the Thumb artifact, if you would flip a coin, instead flip 2 coins and ignore 1, that's really going to make sure that we can end up with some one-sided board wipes with Rakdos, and at the same time, make sure we have a really stacked Mirror March. So that's going to be a lot of enter the battlefield triggers. That's going to be a lot of hasty creatures. That's going to make sure you're going to smooth out your Rakdos triggers. Thumb's going to be a great addition for the deck. You definitely want to run it. There might be a few other coin flip cards you might want to run if you want to have a little bit more fun. But as far as my particular build, it's kind of Demon Tribal first, and then we have the support cards to support Rakdos entering the battlefield late game. So that's kind of what we've got going on. Outside of those particular cards, we do have Liliana's Contract. Kind of acts as a plan B for the deck. With Liliana's Contract, enter the battlefield, draw 4 cards, lose 4 life. Sounds really good. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you're going to win the game. So, like I mentioned, it's kind of like a plan B for the deck. You know, we definitely have more than 4 demons in the deck. And then the fact that you can cash in card draw, get this down, and really kind of threaten an alternative win condition, that's a great thing. And then we're also running Urza's Incubator. Choose a creature type, enters the battlefield. We're going to be choosing demon 99% of the time. And the creature spells of the chosen type get cost 2 less to cast. So basically, it's just going to be a nice little tribal artifact that we can get down. And getting that reduced 2 mana cost on a lot of these demons is really going to push you into a really aggressive board state. So, but that is going to be it for the deck tech. I've got 2 awesome gameplay videos up for you next, so make sure you stick around and watch. Welcome to Rakdos the Showstopper. As far as our opening hand goes, this is not good. We're going to mulligan. That's probably like the least. We do have lands in here, I do promise. It's going to go 1 more mulligan. And at this point, yeah, that's good. We've got something to kind of work towards our Theater of Horrors, and hopefully we get a little bit more artifact ramp. So we're going to keep on this one, and hopefully the Scrying treats us a little bit better. Now, we are playing against a Loro, Mr. Lazy Boy himself. So he's going to be sitting back in his chair. So I don't have super high hopes for this game. Actually, we'll definitely put that land on top, because that'll put us on for Theater of Horrors. And then we'll let our opponent do their thing. But yes, hopefully we can rebound from this kind of a yucky start. Anyway, Rakdos. If I know anybody can do it, this can be him and his big old I guess scythe. I think that's what it's called. Can't remember. So we draw into Swamp. Let's get down Swamp, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. We played Rakdos, the Showstopper, Flying and Trample. Whenever Rakdos enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or an imp. Destroy each creature whose coin flip comes up tails. So love that. Playing gets a Loro. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 2 life. Then, whenever you gain life, you may pay 1 mana. If you do draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. Then, at the beginning of your upkeep, if Loro is in the command zone in his Lazy Boy chair, you gain 2 life. Sorry, I had a little bit of a kind of a hiccup coming up. I'll try to do that last time. But anyway, Laurel's going to be sitting in his lazy boy chair for the game. So let's go and get down Graven and then kick it back over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. It is officially free time. We can do whatever we want. That's going to be this deck. You know, I did record a deck tech for this, but this is pretty much, you know, I was getting ready to play Rakdos, the Showstopper. I wasn't really sure how I wanted to go. I originally I searched up Imp. I was like, oh, man, what if we do Imp Tribal? That'll be fun. And let's get down Theater of Horrors. Make sure we get down some red mana to make sure Theater of Horrors is happy. There we go. Go Theater of Horrors, one more mana. We'll see if our opponent's got a counter spell. They've got it. It's not going to be a lot of fun. We can just pray that we get to 5 mana for Obnixilis. But there we go. Theater of Horrors does stick. But yeah, so as far as my building process for Rakdos, you know, I looked into imps first. I was like, man, maybe we can do imp tribal. Man, it is slim pickings. If you want to do imp tribal with Rakdos, you are there's not a lot out there. It's like getting to a buffet at like 5 minutes before they close. There is nothing that is sounds that good. All right, so we do run into Urza's Incubator. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right, so Bedevil's in our exile zone. So basically with Theater of Horrors, we need to deal damage to be able to access some of these cards, but I'll keep these cards over here. Let's see if we can't stick an Urza's Incubator. We're going to get this down. That'll basically kind of act as a mana rock to get down the 2 demons that we do have in our hand. There we go. I like it. All right, so we're going to choose Demon off Urza's Incubator, and then we're going to kick it back over there. But yeah, so I wanted to go Imp Tribal first, and that was not... wasn't a whole lot out there to choose from. And then, you know, Devils, you could definitely do Devil Tribal. Then, man, I just love playing Demons. And so here we are, playing some Demon Tribal with Rakdos. And it's always a lot of fun. Let's see if, okay, Demon Lord. And then we draw into Hedron Archive. Flying and Trample. Yeah, I guess we could go Mind Rack Demon. I think I kind of like that. Well, either that's going to be a pretty good chunk of damage if we don't get that going. And we might as well just go well, actually, yeah, we can go Desecration Demon. I think that'd be good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go Desecration Demon. If they have a counter spell, so be it. And then we can still at least get down Mind Rack Demon after that. Yeah, because I think this will be that'll be definitely a really good threat to get down. It's going to have flying 6/6. They don't have any creatures out right now, so that's going to allow us to at least kind of swing in and start attacking our opponent's life total. We need to get rid of some of that, make a Loro start sweating in his lazy boy chair. But yeah, so I didn't find any imps, and then I kind of looked at, you know, you could definitely build a Devil Tribal deck with Rakdos, but Demons are pretty fun. You get to run the Liliana's Contract card in here, so you kind of have this weird alternative win condition, which is always pretty cool. All right, so we got Refuge and Doomblade. Let's go and swing in with Desecration Demon. And opponent does have the opportunity to destroy, sacrifice a creature, but they have no creature. So we're going to get in and let's get down Refuge. That way we can make our land drop for the turn. Okay, so, and let's go to our main phase. Let's go for Refuge. It's going to allow us to gain 1 life. And then with Bedevil and Demon Lord, we could go for Demon Lord. We have to sacrifice another creature. I think at this point, we'll just hold on to Demon Lord. We'll go for Mind Rack Demon. And that way we can get this down. We'll try to get Delirium in our graveyard. If Delirium kind of proves to be a little bit too hard to achieve in the graveyard, we still have Demon Lord out of the exile zone from Theater of Horrors for us to sacrifice Mind Rack Demon. And then also at the same time, that'll allow us to get that creature down. We hit it perfect. We hit 4 card types. Look at that. Thank you, Magic Gods. We've got Artifact, we've got Creature, we've got Sorcery, we've got Instant. I mean, that could not have been more of a perfect... Mind Rack Demon flips. I'll take that, especially get something like a Loro. Now, it does look like our opponent is stuck on black mana. They cannot find black mana, so hopefully they do. But we're going to keep this going. So it's always... I've been on the other end of a Loro, just gaining life and just going into... Ooh, Mirror March. I like that a lot. So if we go for Mirror March... Yeah, let's do this. So let's go and push in for 10. Let's go and put them down to 28. And then we've got a pretty good little demon crew swinging in. We don't necessarily have to get down Rakdos just yet. So let's go and push in for 10. It's going to put them down to 28. And then we go for Hedron Archive. I think that would be... yeah, I like Hedron Archive because that really just opens us up on mana. If we had hit a land off of... the Theater of Horrors, definitely would have been tempted to go for something like Obnixilis, but I think at this point right now, Hedron Archive puts us in a position to where we can at least get down Mirror March, and I've had a ton of fun with Mirror March recently, and once we get down Mirror March, you know, any sort of demon we get down. Now, it's not really going to be that good to go for Mirror March or Demon Lord because it's going to have to sacrifice another creature. So that's not going to be one of the best demons to go for off of Mirror March. But, you know, there's some other good demons out there that we can definitely have a lot of fun with. And in fact, if you like Mirror March, I put out... All right, so we do have Gilded Drake taking our Desecration Demon. Okay. And so, no, we're not. We'll wait for a second on Gilded Drake. So now it's gotten a little bit interesting. Our opponent did gain control of our creature, and I'll kind of finish our Mirror March talk in just a second. So let's see what we hit off the exile off of Theater of Horrors. Verdant Catacombs. And we're definitely online for Catacombs. Be able to get that down for our land drop. Let's see what we hit for the actual draw. Shadowborn Demon. Now here's the downside. The one creature they end up going for is Desecration Demon. We've got Doomblade and we've got Shadowborn Demon, but we still have Dreadbore, which kind of makes me laugh, but it's kind of a funny thing. Let's go and push in for, we'll see actually if they want to sacrifice Desecration, or actually, excuse me, I was thinking we had Desecration Demon. Let's go and push in for 7. And we'll go and swing it with the Gilded Drake, and then once we end up going for Dreadbore on Desecration Demon, then we don't have to worry about that anymore. At least I'm having that creature. Let's go Dreadbore on Mr. Desecration Demon. Get out of here, partner. Let's go and make the land drop down for the turn. That's going to be Catacombs. And I think at this point, we just go Bedevil on Soul Ring, just kind of cut them off any sort of mana. I think that'd be pretty good. So we grab Badlands. Let's go for Bedevil on Soul Ring. And actually, let's tap down this mana first. It's going to be double black and then red. Yeah, there we go. So double black, I'm going to tap down red, go for Bedevil on the Soul Ring. And talk about some beautiful card art. And then anything else, we're going to pass the turn over to our opponent. So you can definitely see where this deck is that's kind of why I just ended up going Demon Tribal. Because, you know, there's certain commanders that Rakdos is... You know, if your main game plan is to get down demons and your main game plan is just to swing in the air and deal as much damage to your opponent, that's going to work out for you. With Rakdos, he's not a demon tribal lord, he's not whatever, so really the core foundation of a Rakdos deck is going to be, or at least this particular build, is going to be basically just kind of a support commander in that we're going to use them to get them down and destroy any sort of creatures our opponent gets on the battlefield. So that's kind of how I've built this deck to where it's almost kind of a... you know, tribal deck first, and then it is Rakdos as a little bit of a cleanup. And, you know, it's perfectly fine to build commander like that. You know, you don't always have to have a commander deck that's 99 out of the 100 cards are just built around Rakdos. You know, it's okay to have a good core foundation deck and then use your commander to kind of support the deck. And it's a pretty fun way to do that. So our opponent does have 4 cards in the hand. This can be 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have Gamble. We've got Faithless Eluding we can go for. I feel like a good counterspell test would definitely be Obnixilis, so let's try and get that to stick. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, because if we can get down Obnixilis, then we'll be in a really good position to just really start cashing some card draw. There's no threat from our opponent as far as any sort of creatures, and if they do have a counterspell, they'll definitely want to burn it on Obnixilis, so it looks like they don't. Let's go ahead and +1. We're going to draw a card and lose a life. That's going to put us down to 29, and we hit Cliffs. Let's get down Cliffs, and let's go ahead and go for Faithless Eluding. Yeah, let's go for Faithless Eluding because we can still hold on to Doomblade. It's not really... We might end up getting rid of Doomblade now that I think about... Ooh, Runescarred Demon. Ooh, with Mirror March? Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. Let's go Doomblade, and I think we'll get rid of Gamble because at this point right now, if we had Gamble in our opening hand, I would be very tempted to keep it. But, yeah, that's one of those that we don't really want to have to lose one of the key cards in our hand due to a Gamble, so... All right, opponent's going to get down on Laurel. Now, as far as what we can do, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8 mana, essentially 10 mana with Urza's Incubator on the battlefield. So we really want to be able to take advantage of this Mirror March if we can get down Runescarred Demon. And, you know, that's one of the fun things about Mirror March is that it's a fun card to play, for sure. And, ooh, do we want to just jam a Tribute to Hunger? I think that'd be good. Let's go and exile the top part of our library, Night's Whisper. And then, ooh, Soul Ring. We can do a lot of utility stuff this turn. Let's go for the +1, draw a card and lose a life. Draw into Mana Crypt. Let's go for Tribute to Hunger on our opponent. That's going to be black and then double off of Hedron Arc. Yeah, I think we're okay with basically just kind of cleaning up on this one. So, all right, so we get down Soul Ring. Actually, yeah, if we just go Mana Crypt, then we go Soul Ring. This is pretty nasty. I love it. We get down Soul Ring, and then We could wait on Mirror March if we wanted to for Runescar Demon. Yeah, because we can dump some stuff out of our hands. So let's go and choose our opponent. Let's go for red. That way we can still at least go for Rakdos Signet and still end up going for Knight's Whisper. That'll be good. And the next turn we go for Mirror March. This will be a good utility hand for us. Just a good utility turn. We took care of our opponent's commander. Let's go Knight's Whisper. Cash in a little bit more card draw. Get down the land drop for the turn. We've cast it with Spectacle. Oh, look at this, man. This is a great. Even if we lose, I'm just like, I've already won because of this opening, what we've done. And then anything else, no. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So, very fruitful turn for us. We took care of our opponent's commander. If they want to tap out for a Loro, let's get him popped back up. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even if they make the land drop, they're going to have to get down a Loro again and completely tap out for it. That's going to leave us open on Shadowborn Demon to destroy that. And we definitely want to try to, at this point now, finally get down Mirror March. That'd be a good way for us to end up with a really good Runescar Demon. And that way we can no. Exile all artifacts. Okay, so that's kind of par for the course. That's fine. And so they took care of a lot of our artifacts. We've got Obnixilis down, so we're actually chasing a -8 with Obnixilis. So that's going to be something that we can, if we get to that ultimate, there's a lot of card draw with the Loro. Typically, a lot of these control decks do have a lot of card draw, so that'll be a good way for us to kind of put some more pressure on our opponent's life total. But that man, whenever your opponent goes for Merciless Eviction, that's pretty brutal. But we did have a really good turn last turn. We Faithless Looting into light up the stage and different things like that. So our opponent's going to go for Demonic Tutor. We'll kind of see what they're going for. I would assume if I'm the Loro player, we'd probably see some sort of board wipe. That'd be a good way to kind of bounce back from some of these demons. And eventually we'll just get down Rakdos and just start swinging in, especially with their opponent just sitting at 21. That's the fun thing about these demons is they all have a drawback, but they've got a really strong life total. Okay, so let's get the Exile Zone pot back up, and I think we hit a Demon of Catastrophes. Okay, so we get Canyon Slow is going to enter the battlefield. We're going to get that down. Enters the battlefield tap. Let's go for the +1 draw card. We're going to lose a life. Draw into Swamp. And that's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to have 7 total mana, which is going to be just enough for getting down Runescar Demon. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go Runescar Demon. We're just going to completely tap out for this, especially since the coast is clear. It's going to put us on something like Force of Will from our opponent. That'll open us up on Theater of Horrors for next turn. We can really start getting rid of... I wish you could get rid of some of the exile stuff. That we can kind of have a little bit of a clearer picture of what's going on. So we go for a Tutor off of Runescar Demon. Now, if we want to live the dream... And this is going to be a lot. All right, so if we want to live the dream, and Commander is about having fun. If we go Hell Rider and we hit a ton of Mirror March triggers off of Hell Rider, that's a lot of damage. And I think I want to do that. Yeah, let's go for that. So we're going to go for Hell Rider. That may not win us the game, but I'm going to feel so silly if we get down Mirror March and then we lose the first coin flip. But hey, we're here to have some fun. And like I mentioned earlier, I never finished that. So I built a Mirror March deck for this channel. If you want to check it out, I released a couple weeks ago. And unfortunately, I got one gameplay video with it. But if you want to check it out, is a ton of, Vindicate on Obnixilis. Almost there. But we got some good card draw. But with Mirror March, there's a lot of Enter the Battlefield effects in Standard that are a lot of fun right now. So we have the Crispicula Worm, the 8 or 7 mana that enters the battlefield, you gain 7 life. So you can get a lot of those. It has Trample. And it's just wild. I love it. Let's go and swing in with the Runescar Demon. That's going to be 6 in the air. And then there's sometimes in Magic where you just go for lines of play that if you just get lucky, you win the game, and maybe going for a bunch of Hell Riders that might end up working out for us. So let's go for Wooded Foothills, and let's finally try to get down Mirror March. I think that'll be good. So let's go Mirror March. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Now, if they've got a counterspell, they've got it. I doubt they would want to burn a counterspell on Mirror March, but I can definitely see them. Okay, oh man. That's a bummer. Okay, that happens. Let's go and crack Wooded Foothills. I understand. There's a lot of good demons in here. Let's go and grab a mountain. Let's get down Rakdos Cluestone. And then we'll just kind of keep the pressure up with Runescar Demon. Anything else, we're going to go, man, that's a bummer. All right. Either way, still, getting some really good incremental damage with Hell Rider is definitely a really good thing. You've got a 6/6 Demon swinging in, being able to add an extra damage on top of that with Hell Rider and Hell Rider itself having haste. There's just a lot of times where that can really put some good pressure on our opponent. So, all right, so our opponent ended up going for Grim Tutor, might have grabbed another either piece of spot removal or another counter spell if I'm the Allura player. Well of Lost Dreams. Okay. Alright, so we're going to have the Exile effect. It's going to be Polluted Delta, and then Blood Speaker, the Ogre Shaman. Let's go and push in with, yeah, let's go for that Hell Rider line of play. I think that's going to be pretty good. Like I mentioned, you might be running into some sort of board wipe, but, because that's probably what they went for with Grim Tutor. Let's go and swing in 4. That's going to be 9, and that's going to be 11 coming across. So that's going to be a pretty good chunk of damage. And we also get in this position to where we might be able to go for the Theater of Horrors activations if we had enough mana. They hadn't hit that Merciless Eviction. That would have been pretty close to that. Okay, so we've got Polluted Delta. We've got Ancient Craving, which is basically just going to be a sorcery, and I think at this point we can go for Demon of Catastrophes, but you know what, let's just go for Ancient Craving. That'll be some good card draw for us. Let's go and crack a Polluted Delta. Just in case we're running into, I'd like to get another red source, so we're going to pay 2 life on this, just in case we're running into Mana Leak. I'd hate to tap out for this spell and get hit with the Mana Leak, so we're going to at least get that. And I also wanted to have another red source. All right, there, so we drawn a few more cards. And then Herald of Anguish is definitely not something we can get down right now. Yeah, let's go and flash Faithless Looting out of the graveyard. That'll be another good way for us to kind of dig a little bit deeper into our library. So if our opponent did search up a board wipe, we at least have a wonderful way to kind of bounce back. Let's get rid of Scalding Tarn, and let's get rid of another Swamp. All right, so we're in a great position. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. Let's get the Exile Zone. Yeah, with this Theater of Horrors and their Command Zone, we have so many zones over here. It's kind of hard to keep up. Let's make Allura a little bit smaller, make him Baby Allura. And we'll make Rakdos little baby Rakdos too, and then we'll get our Exile Zone over here. So at this point, we do have lethal on the battlefield, so they're gonna have to have some sort of answer to stop Runescar Demon or Hell Rider. And then with Vampiric Tutor, we're completely open during our upkeep to grab something. So that if we need to grab some sort of spot removal, we do still have Terminate left. If we wanted to, I think that might have been, yeah, Supreme Verdict. So I think with the Bedevil, that might have been. We do have Chaos Warp, so we do have Chaos Warp. We can take care of Well of Lost Dreams if we need to. But I think at this point, we'd like to get some sort of haste option. But I think most of these demons, that's going to be about it. Now, if we wanted to, I think Well of Lost Dreams with Vampiric Tutor is going to be, I think that's going to be a good line of play to go for. Yeah, because we just want to make sure that they just don't have any sort of card draw. So we're going to go for the Theater of Horrors trigger. Exile the top card. Now we go Vampiric Tutor. And we're going to go for Chaos Warp. Let's get this popped out. Let's just make sure. So if we go Chaos Warp, that's going to allow us to deal with Well of Lost Dreams. There's nothing really else that has any sort of... yeah, I think Chaos Warp is going to be good. So we're going to put Chaos Warp on top of our library. Let's go Chaos Warp on Well of Lost Dreams, because we basically just don't want to give them any extra sort of card draw, especially them gaining that life. So hopefully it's not going to come back and bite us. And then once we get that down, we can... All right, there we go. All right, so we get the laying down for the turn. And then Swan Song was the reveal, so we'll definitely take that. As far as whatever sort of pressure... Ooh, you know what? I'm sorry, we did this out. We should have gotten down on Omnixilus and made the land drop, because that would have been a great way for us to really kind of attack our opponent's life total. Okay, that's definitely a little bit of a misplay on my part. Sorry about that. Let's get down Herald of Anguish. That'll at least be a good threat, and if we hit the land drop next turn, we can simply just tap out for Omnixilus, make the land drop, and that'll be enough to close the game out. So, yeah, that was definitely... When a game like this kind of goes a little bit long, we are approaching the 21-minute mark. Seeing little things like that, and especially when you've just been yakking the entire time, it's a little rough. All right, so we're going to get down the... opponent's going to have to discard a card at their end step. It's going to get rid of the Detection Tower. But yeah, the better line of play definitely would have been Omnixilus, but can't go back in time, and it's just a happy little magic mistake. So we did get rid of their main card draw source, and that was going to be Well of Lost Dreams. So once we kind of, hopefully we can swing in with Herald of Anguish. If they end up getting down a Loro, that'll be a little bit of extra life gain. And then also with Theater of Horrors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've actually got 3 activations with Herald of Anguish. And so we can swing in for 5, and that'll put them down to 4. So that'll put them down to 1 life. And yeah, that might be something we want to go for. Forbidding Ruins. Okay, so that's at least going to be the land drop. Let's go and push in with Herald of Anguish. And then, yeah, Laurel does not have... For some reason, I know he's sitting in a chair, so you can't have flying if you're sitting in a chair, but for some reason I think he always has flying. All right, so we're going to swing in for a 5/5, and that's going to put our opponent down to 4. That will, hopefully, if we get in for damage, that should be... All right, there we go. Put him down to 4. And let's get the Exile Zone. Let's go for Obnixilis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if they've got a counterspell, they've got it, but at least this should be the game. So we get down on Omnixus, we make the land drop down for Foreboding Ruins, and this will kind of... All right, there we go. Let's get down Ruins. Nope. Enter the battlefield, that's going to be 3 damage. Opponent's going to lose 3 life. Definitely want to choose our opponent. And then once we go for the Theater of Horrors activation, yes, we're going to use that ability. Use Theater of Horrors, target our opponent. Oh, this is just beautiful. Now, we didn't get down Rakdos, but we didn't really need a reason to get down Rakdos. We had a lot of good demons we can get down that were a little bit cheaper. Herald of Anguish is going to attack our opponent's life total. All right, put our opponent down to 0. Good game to our opponent. They were stuck on a little black mana for a little bit, but you can see we definitely, you know, kind of opponent definitely put us through the ropes. We had Vindicate, we got Omnixilus up, we got into a lot of card draw. I mean, really, if you think about it, we got to like 45 cards left in our library. So we were able to filter through our deck pretty quick between Omnixilus, Theater of Horrors, and a bunch of other fun stuff. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Rakdos, the Showstopper. As far as opening hand goes, yes, I like this. We'll keep on this one. We've got Graven and Swamp and Demonic. Yeah, this is good. We'll keep. And we're playing against Baby Tavuza. I think, man, that sounds wrong. That might be wrong. I don't know. Either way, this is what it's going to be for the rest of the video. And our opponent's going to get off to a pretty nice start with that Mystic to get some card draw. So, see what we draw into. Would like to see some sort of artifact ramp or even some sort of land. But Toxic Deluge is always okay. A little heavy on board wipes, but it is always welcome in our opening hand. Let's get down Graven and then anything else. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Rakdos, the Showstopper. Flying and trample whenever Rakdos enters the battlefield. Flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each creature's coin comes up tails. So that's a pretty fun way. Ooh, that's a good start by our opponent. Get down Soul Ring. Draw into Dreadbore. We'll get down Swamp. I guess we just go and cash in a quick Demonic Tutor. Not entirely sure what exactly we want to go for. Probably want to go for... No, we're not going to be able to pay for that. You can get a free card draw partner. I think what we need to do is we need to keep up with this ramp. So we're going to go and grab... I'd like to get Mana Crypt down, but we can wait on Mystic. Yeah, we could wait. Yeah, I want them to just have to keep paying for that cumulative upkeep, so we're just going to sit back and wait. But yeah, so we're playing Rakdos. Destroy each creature's coin comes up tails. And then playing against, not Baby anymore, but normal, Tuvasa, TVASA, the Sunlit. I think that's the right way. It gets... That is not right. All right, so with them going double Mystic, I'm just going to let them get the cumulative upkeep going, and we're just going to kick it back over there. So we're going to get the Temple of Mouse into the battlefield, get the Scry going, the Scurry, the Fever, the Insanity. Do we want Demon of Catastrophes? No, we don't. Let's go put that on the bottom for right now. And we're going to go past the turn. Play against Miss TV over there. Gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Then, whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. And so, what? Estrid's Invocation. Oh, so they're going to be able to keep bouncing it as a copy of Mystic. Okay. But let's see if they want to keep paying that, yeah, that cumulative upkeep on the original one. So this is a waiting game for me, so we're A-okay with that. So, and they're going to pay for 3. Once they finally get down their commander, that's might end up going for Devour Flesh, but at this point right now, well, they don't have green, so we're going to definitely outweigh this. We'll just keep trying to cash in some lands. Come on, lands. All right, so that's definitely not a land. And then anything else? Yeah, we don't have 4 mana to pay for that. I guess technically, well, no, it's going to be on the trigger. So, you know, we'll just go and pass. Pass it over there, and we're going to get rid of Overlord, because we're a little far away from that one. And then, okay, my cat's not under my desk. Sometimes my cat sleeps under my desk, and so I get ready to kind of lean back in my chair and stretch out, and I'm always really worried that I'm going to kick her on accident. I've done that in a few videos, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. All right, so let's see if they want to pay this cumulative upkeep, and that'll put it up to 5. All right, there they go. Finally broke the chain. We had to cast into it once, and then we'll finally get down Mana Crypt and start going from there. And especially, well, you know, with them having a copy at this point right now, if they end up going for the commander, probably end up going for Devour Flesh. There'll be another card draw in their hand, and then we can just really kind of go from there. But we don't necessarily have to go for that plea for guidance. Uh-oh. For 2 okay. All right, so that'll be fine. We'll see, and they do have to reveal them, so we'll get the reveal zone popped up. We'll go and let them search up whatever they want to find. Okay, so opponent isn't going for Fertile Ground, which is, yeah, we're pretty much fine with both of these. The Mary's Guile, so we can definitely survive off of both of those. And then once they get rid of the Mystic, that'll really allow us to really just kind of open up our... do we want to go one more turn? I guess we kind of have to. We get down Wooded Foothills, that'll be the land for the turn. And that'll be the last one. Yeah, let's go and wait one more turn. I know we're being cautious on this one, but I really want to just kind of make sure they don't get in any sort of extra card draw, and they still have to pay for the cumulative upkeep. Well, actually they don't, because it'll bounce back to the hand. But, well, if they want to start paying for the upkeep on that, they certainly can. I guess they can bounce it back and have it enter a battlefield. But if it does bounce back to their hand, then they're not going to be able to have that card anymore. So the good thing about Mana Crypt is that we can certainly just roll this out and kind of start going to town. The only downside is we're playing against a Bant enchantment deck, and we're playing red-black, which is the two colors that just cannot really do anything with Bant enchantment. So that's the only downside. And they do get on Fertile Ground. We're going to cross that off, and we'll make Mary's Guile just a little bit smaller. So, and even then, if they get the cumulative upkeep going again. Yeah, because we have a lot of stuff we want to roll out. Ooh, a Grothian Enchantress. Okay, so that might finally kind of get something going with us, at least getting down Mana Crypt. We'd have to pay that 4 mana to kind of get around that Enchantress, because if they start casting some spells with an open Grothian Enchantress, that is not going to be good. Okay, so let's see what we rip into. Hopefully we've drawn Polluted Delta. Okay, I definitely want to see some lands. So we got Polluted Delta. Let's go to Crack Polluted Delta. We're going to grab ourselves Badlands. Let's grab Crackwooded Foothills. And I think at this point, since we are sitting at 28, I'm going to go ahead and shock in Blood Crypt. We go for Mana Crypt. That way we can pay the 4 life. And we may end up having to... yes, we're going to pay for that. And we want to get rid of a Grothian Enchantress, so... I think we need to go for that. So let's go for Devour Flesh. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get rid of the... they're still going to be able to cash in a card draw, but we're still going to try to minimize the amount that they can go for. Not going to be able to play for that. And then that'll put them on an upkeep trigger next turn of 2. And at least we got rid of Enchantress, because if you don't take care of Enchantress, if you got an enchantment deck, that is... oh man, it's like leaving a... open Mystic Study on the table. I mean, you're just gonna lose. All right, so we finally got out from underneath the Mystic Lock. They did go for Fertile Ground, so they're open up on mana. We're open up on whatever we want to do. Even if they have a bunch of creatures that they want to get down, we still have Terminate, Toxic Deluge. We have an entire hand of just removal, which is exactly what this deck wants to do. So even if they have all the mana in the world, we can still at least kind of get rid of whatever they want to get, whatever they want to get down. All right, so it's gonna get down their commander, and I love the art on this card. This is looks good. I really enjoy that with some of the new commander sets that whenever they release a new commander, or at least in the summer commander supplement set, they'll at least kind of put out have hexproof. Yeah, that's fine. We still take advantage of these board wipes. And then one of the cool things is when they go back and kind of do a commander from a set that we just went into. You know, it's not just some random set. So we're going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. Lost the flip. We are 0 for 1 on our Mana Crypts. And then we draw 2 Doom Whispers. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 total mana. Gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Draw a card. If we end up toxing or Damnation, we can get rid of those creatures, but I think I kind of like Doom Whisper. Yeah, because, well, if we want to get rid of their commander, we're going to have to go for one of these right now. It's 5 damage to each creature. Lose indestructible. I think Hour of Devastation. This is going to be our best opportunity to use Hour of Devastation. So let's do this. Let's go Hour of Devastation. Let's get rid of their commander, send it back to the command zone, and then that way, it'll kind of clear the way for Doom Whisperer. If we can draw into another land, that'll be 7 mana. That'll kind of keep us open on maybe going for something like Toxic Deluge, or even going for something like Doom Whisperer. The only downside is if we want to get rid of our opponent's commander now, we have to do it through a board wipe because of the privileged position. So, like I mentioned, we are playing red-black. It's a little bit hard to deal with an enchantment on what we've got going on, but hopefully we can. So, let's see what they roll out for the turn. Okay, so opponent's going to get down Satyr Enchanter, and at this point right now, with all of this card draw, once again, if they end up going Leyline of Anticipation, okay, that'll be another card draw. We'll probably end up having to go for Toxic Deluge if we plan on getting down Doom Whisper, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we hit the land drop, because that allows us to do both of those, which would be really nice. Go and choose Tails, lost the flip. We are 0 for 2 on our Mana Crypt triggers, and then see what we draw into. Come on, land. Come on, Magic Gods, give us a land. Ooh, actually, they're tapping during our upkeep, so they're going to go for Seal of Primordium. Oh, man, I hate Leyline of Anticipation. I mean, I don't mind the card itself, but, like, when you're doing commentary, I'm like, wait, why is it a Seal of Primordium during our upkeep? All right, so they're going to go for Seal of Primordium. Probably going to see the crack on Mana Crypt, which is yeah, that's a perfectly fine line of play. Can't target anything. Yep, that's going to get it. So that's going to get rid of Mana Crypt. So at this point right now, we're pretty much going to be on the Doom Whisperer game plan. We're going to try to outrace our opponent. That's all we've got to do now. One of the good things about this deck is that, we have a lot of demons. A lot of these demons have a very high power and toughness, 6/6, flying and trample. We have Surveil too, so we can stop whatever our opponent wants to go for. We've got Spawn of Mayhem. All of these cards have some sort of drawback, or most of the demons in Magic, if you're new to Magic, or if you're kind of new to Commander via Arena, a lot of the demons in Magic, they'll have, 4/4, 4/5, 5/5, 6/6, somewhere in that range, and they typically have a 4, 5, 6 converted mana cost that goes along with it. And the main reason for that is they have some sort of drawback when they enter the battlefield. Now, Doom Whisperer, this is just a solid demon. Lingify, and it loses all abilities. So we're looking at 2 coming in next turn. Yeah, let's get some Surveil going, but to be honest, man, I don't think we're really in that good of a position to close this one out. Let's go for another Surveil, Mirror March. Yeah, I guess if we're going to win, that'll be Mirror March. Yeah, let's go and put that in the graveyard and put Mirror March on top. We've got to hit another land. We've got to get lucky with a lot of these demons. So pretty much with Mirror March on top, that's kind of one of the cards that you wanted to see. And actually with Lingify, oh, excuse me, I thought it was the Forest version. So we're going to draw into Mirror March. If we can get down Mirror March and have it stick and get through a counter spell, and then we can get lucky with a bunch of coin flips, we might be able to close it out with something like Spawn of Mayhem. This is pretty much our only line of play to go for. But yeah, some of the demons, they have a typically have a lower converted mana cost in between the 4 and 6 range, and they have some sort of drawback. So like Desecration Demon, it's 4 mana, it's a 6/6. Our opponent can sacrifice a creature to tap it down during combat. Now, if they don't have any creatures, then you basically just have a 4 mana 6/6 with flying, which is always which is really nice. So our opponent does get down privileged position. So at this point right now, they're basically locked up. So we're just basically on the Damnation or Toxic Deluge game plan, which I think we might end up going for one of those. So let's see what they're flashing in now. That's going to be 2 mana. You have Hexproof. Yep, that's fine. And I don't think we want to pay life, I think, at this point. We're at 16. We don't want to pay 9 life. So let's go Damnation. The good thing about Damnation, this is just going to give us a turn just to maybe kind of get something going. We're going to go for Damnation. That's going to leave them at 2 mana, so they've got a counterspell there. All right, so we clean up the board. We're going to pray to the Magic Gods that we hit a 6 land down to get down Mirror March, and then because I mean, we're not winning this game. The only way we're going to win this game is if we get lucky with a bunch of Spawn of Mayhems. And at this point, that's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So we need like 7 or 8 coin flips to go in a row, which, if you're keeping score at home, now would be a perfect time to start praying to the Magic Gods in hopes that we can get down Mirror March and get down some really good creatures. All right, so opponent's going to get down the Commander, and The only downside with Toxic Deluge, that would have been nice to kind of hold up Toxic Deluge. With our opponent getting down so many enchantments, we cannot go for Toxic Deluge, unfortunately. Come on, land drop. Let's go. Oh, that is not what we wanted to see. Okay, so we can still... No, we actually kind of need to hold on to Spawn of Mayhem. So we Toxic for 7. That's going to stop... That's going to get the Commander tanks going again. I think we just Toxic for 7 again. I'm not wild about it, but... we just kind of want to chew up our opponent's turn with getting down their commander, and we get that commander tanks going. They can flash in another enchantment to kind of dodge this, and if they do, that's fine. But because either way, we're definitely in a losing position at this point right now. So okay, so they're gonna flash in. Yeah, Mirari's Wake. Oh my goodness. Okay, so our opponent's gonna get it on this one. They're gonna be able to untap next turn, and that should be exactly just enough. We can't go for Dreadbore, can't go for Terminate. They got double privileged position on their side of the battlefield. So good game to our opponent. We tried to live the dream with Mirror March, but unfortunately with that Mystic, you know, if we play into an open Mystic, you know, they get off to a really good start, and just kind of playing, you know, slow rolling a Mystic with us trying not to draw into any sort of not to give our opponent a bunch of card draw. You know, that was a... Oh, man, look at the art on that. Love the art. That looks wild. All right, so what's going to swing in? That's going to put us down to -1. Long story short, you know, this game did bottleneck on our opponent getting down Mystic turn 1, and the fact that they couldn't make a copy of it and cash in that kind of just put us in this stalemate. You know, we didn't draw into any sort of artifacts. We didn't draw into any sort of lands. And... you know, if we start casting into an open one, they're going to get a ton of card draw, and this is going to put our opponent in a really good position, and we were just not set up to outrace our opponent with card draw. You know, if we had stuff like Faithless Looting in the hand, I might have been tempted to play into an open Mystic, but I would still go back and kind of play it the way that we did. Unfortunately, with the privileged position, double of those, it's just hard for us to do anything from that. And when you're building an Enchantress build, card draw is basically the core concept of the deck, and our opponent definitely got that going. So, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.